No, I am not lying to you. No, I'm not telling you any form of fibs. Yes, West Ham went to Ellen Road. Yes, we scored 2 goals away from home. Yes, we beat Leeds in Bielsa. And yes, we have moved up to 5th place in the Premier League. Still, what the fuck is going on?
Mate, it's our season. It's our season. I tell you, it's really weird because when they missed their first penalty, I thought, here we go. It's going to be our day, and it turned out to be. And we ground out a result.
Yeah,
But
100%.
mind you, I don't think we had anything to worry about.
No.
They didn't look like they didn't look like they were scaring West Ham. They had possession, but they didn't do much with it.
Yeah.
So it's all good.
Yeah, of course it is. Before we bring in some guests, we have to remind you that this video is sponsored by OneFootball, who sponsor our Matchday Lives, our highlights in words videos, and our West Ham weeklies. And no, it's not going to be Stell's advert. It's going to be Richard's today.
West Ham's, Irons United, and OneFootball have partnered up for the month of December. OneFootball is everything you could possibly need in a football-related app. From live scores, stats, transfer news, it is everything that a football fan could possibly need in one. Now what we need you guys to do is go over to our YouTube channel, look in the description, and you'll find a link to download OneFootball's app. Get involved, it's my go-to, and we are delighted to be teaming up with them for December.
Still, I feel a little bit like we're turning into more than just a podcast with all the adverts that they've got and all that sort of stuff, It's a kind of familiar feel. But listen, if it's a familiar feel, let's bring on the familiar feel. We've got Sean and we've got Nigel.
I love OneFootball. It's
And
my
we've got-
go-to app.
Oh, here we go. We should get him to
I've
do
been
that.
using it for years. I would never use anything else except OneFootball.
I've got an app called One Senior Source. I never use anything else apart from One Senior Source.
No, listen, guys. I told you last time. I do use OneFootball. I've been using it for a long time. It's a great app.
Yep. Well,
That's why
listen.
we shouldn't use it.
From one out of towner.
He's on a stream, so I get the message from OneFootball ahead of the stream and then tell him.
Yeah, that's the annoying thing. I turned my OneFootball thing off today, but it is a good app. It is a good app. Anyway, listen, Nigel, I can help you with that, mate.
Look at that, Dennis. All ads on TV.
Listen, from one out of towner to another, still.
Oh.
Oh, that with distinction.
With distinction, yeah. Sorry, yeah. Still's not had his day in court yet, but certainly won't get there, I don't think. Anyway, we've ended up winning the game 2-1, and what we'll do is we'll bring up the thing that Nigel loves the most, which is the stats for the game. Leeds have got.
That's a bit of squirrel.
That's the OneFootball general. The general statistics: possession 64% to West Ham's just under 36%. I don't really like the rest of them, but the game. Oh, I've just put up the same one. So yeah, just to let you know that it wasn't just stats. Nigel, what does it say about stats?
Bollocks. They're all bollocks.
Anyway, we're up to 5th in the league. I'm going to throw it over to you, Nigel. Give me your kind of thoughts on the game.
Yeah, I mean, before the game, I had a quick look on Twitter to see everyone panicking over Masuaku not being there, even though weeks ago people didn't want him there.
Yeah.
And now everybody was throwing their toys out the pram. The fact that he weren't going to be there, we were playing 4 at the back and we're going to lose the game, and Moyes is an idiot, and it was all Dave Sullivan's fault. And if you think I'm wrong, go and look on Twitter, because I retweeted one of them, and some of the comments underneath were gold. And yeah, it just I feel last week against Man United, I thought Creswell was playing more left back and Masuaku was more in front of him. I've argued this for a while. It changes. We change between 4 at the back and 5 at the back. It was quite easy to bring Ben Rama in, open the door for Ben Rama, and gave Moyes an excuse to pick him. Because I think if Masuaku had been fit, Ben Rama wouldn't have been played. And what a first start he had. I thought he played really well.
Yeah.
We were unfortunate with the penalty. It was a penalty. They called us goal. You know, I did see a comment that VAR can't tell a ball, 15 yards over the line, but they can spot that Fabianski was an inch in front of his line.
So true.
Well done, VAR. But the good thing about conceding early, and with West Ham, we've seen this year, we have got that ability to come back, and I always thought we'd be goals in this game. Both for attacking teams, both a bit suspect at the back. 2 set pieces win the game.
Yeah.
Happy days. Our first win at Ellen Road since 1999. I think it's only our second win in the Premier League at Ellen Road. So it's not been a happy hunting ground in the past, but this is a totally different Leeds team. We haven't played them since 2003 in top flight and since 2012 at all.
Yeah.
And we're sitting 5th in the table before, we've still got tomorrow's games to go, so we'll probably end up 6th or 7th. But again, we're looking forward now to the Palace game, another 3 points.
Yeah.
And we're hanging around that European UEFA Cup spot that may come down to 7th or 8th. Happy days.
And what's good about this is we've put the second half of the Manchester United game completely and firmly behind us by turning up to Ellen Road against a really, a structured and well-formed Bielsa Leeds side. But if we push over to you, Sean, when it comes to the starting lineup, first and foremost, what was your thoughts on the starting lineup? Did you expect any changes? And also, Diop's missing. What do we know about that?
He don't know yet.
Well, I'm just following the lineup, the press conference at the moment. He hasn't mentioned it. No, I said beforehand, and I did an article to say that I thought Ben Rama would start, but I knew he wouldn't play a left wing back because that's not a position he played. I didn't know. I just had a feeling they were bigging him up on the site, and when you big a player up on the official club site, it usually means they're going to start. Other people were saying Snoddy was going to start or Ben Johnson was going to start, but I stuck to it and I called it early that Ben Rama would start, and I thought it was the man of the match. He really did well. The formation was changed. It worked well. We've showed we could have 4 in the back and we did concede, but we can win. We're top 5. Our owners said that we would be a top 6 club if we moved to the London Stadium, and they've delivered on that. They said it would take 5 years. They didn't say which 5 years. There we are. We're top 5. We're less than 3 points away from top 3. Champions League, here we come. They said we could be a top 4 club within 10 years. They didn't say which 10 years. And the Mosiah is one of the best West Ham managers we've ever had. I've always said that. I've always believed in him, and it's great being a West Ham fan on this Friday evening on Friday Night Football.
Good grief, Sean! I mean, if we lose against Palace, you're going to be talking about survival, aren't you? Next,
Moyes out. No. Going back to Diop, I mean, a few people thought Diop may start. Look, I asked when Diop was missing. I asked a question. Let's go back to Masuaku first, quickly. Masuaku, we'd heard he's got a knee problem. That's why he didn't go on international duty. We heard that he's got a bit of a knee problem, etc., and it'd been niggling for some time, and he had a special training program. But, he caught us all out by posting a picture. I mean, all of us out by posting a picture from his bedside going, I've just had an op, before the club told him to take it down. And to make it more mysterious, the club have said nothing. Moyes said nothing. Moyes, on his pre-match press conference on Thursday, just yesterday, said, Fredericks has got a bit of a problem. Antonio probably won't start, but everyone else is fine. What, you just forgot to mention Masuaku, who's in a hospital bed just having an operation. So when Diop went missing tonight, I texted the head of media and said, what's the problem with Diop? Is he having a secret operation? Which he didn't answer. But I was told later that all would become clear in the post-match interview, which he's doing right now. So we might find, look, usually if it's just a knock or a tactical reason, they would usually say. So I might be wrong, but it might be a little bit worse. But who needs Diop? We're fifth. We're fifth, boys. Do you know that? We're fifth in the Premier League. This is 1986 all over again. I think we could challenge for the title this year.
Yeah, good
Matt, let's talk about the game in particular in the first 5 minutes. I mean, what was your thoughts on the first 5 minutes? Yeah, how do you think we started? How do you think Leeds started? And then talk us through the whole penalty situation.
I think Leeds started quickly, didn't they? And I know we had the quick goal a couple of weeks back, but we generally don't start quick. We normally take a while to get into the game. And it looked like in the first 5 minutes we weren't used to the back four. We were settling in. It was a penalty. And unfortunately, VAR was right. He did come off his line, so he had to retake it. The first penalty was absolutely awful. The second penalty was well taken. But they didn't really create much outside of that. They dominated the next 5 minutes of play, but they didn't really create any chances.
Yep. We've lost a guest. We've actually lost a guest.
He's back. Oh, he's back.
There he is. There he is. Look, getting himself sorted. We're just talking about the first 5 minutes, Nigel, and by the letter of the law, it was a penalty. And then, by the letter of the law, Fabianski did take his foot off the line, so therefore it should have been a retake. But then again, you could question whether or not it was a letter of the law, whether or not Leeds players approached the box.
No, because by the letter of the law, you only get done for encroachment if you play the ball.
Yeah.
So basically, you can run in at the penalty area, but if the ball comes out and you're the bloke that kicks it next or takes part in the play, then
the encroachment comes in. Yeah.
Encroachment comes in. So by the letter of the law, you can screenshot Bamford running into the area all you like.
Yeah.
By the letter of the law, that's still a goal.
Yeah, absolutely. So then, obviously, they've retaken the penalty. They've gone 1-0 up. I mean, what was our thoughts on our reaction? Because it really wasn't. There wasn't a reaction. Still, was there?
No, not for a while. I think it looked like we were almost disappointed that we went 1-0 down. I think we felt hard done by with the penalty, but it was a penalty. This whole VAR thing about taking your toenail off the goal line and then having it be taken again seems a bit farcical, to be honest with you. But it was what it was. But I think the players looked a little bit sort of disappointed that we were 1-0 down after 6 minutes or so. So it took us a while to get back into the game, really. But Leeds sort of had most of the first half, but they didn't really look like they were doing much. I don't think there was anything to worry about. I felt confident that sooner or later we were going to get back into the game, But it just took us a while. Yeah. It's like Nigel said. It took us a while to settle down and get into the game. So
One thing I will say, I thought we were fortunate in that all Leeds' best chances went straight at Fabianski.
Yeah,
even the header in the 90th minute, straight at Fabianski. Some of their shots straight at Fabianski. I think that Rodrigo, he had one where he's gone down, checked back, he's in front of the goal. He could have gone left or right. He's gone straight at Fabianski. Now, you could say good positioning from the keeper, but I think we were fortunate. I don't know how many shots they had on target, but they had a fair amount of chances.
Yeah.
Anton, people are saying.
I know. I'm trying to see what it is. Still, I'll let you carry on, and I'll see if I can find out where it is, mate.
Yeah. I think you're right there, Nigel. Or should we just say that Fabianski was in the right position, or it was just poor finishing from them? But I'd take that all day. I think against better opposition, maybe that's gone now. Can you hear us, Anton? It was him.
He's muted himself. I think he was the echo.
He was the echo. I've lost my train of thought there. I think maybe against better opposition, they might have tucked one or two of those chances away.
I think Leeds have shown in the past they've got the ability to score goals. So that's what I'm saying. Is
Bamford had an off night. Bamford had an off night, and but again, we didn't take our chances. And talking seriously, we could be further up the table than we are at the moment. All the chances we missed. And I'm sorry, but Allaire has no right to get a start. He's done now.
I don't see. I don't.
He missed 4 or 5 tonight.
See, this is
man.
We're going to get to the point. We're going to get to the point where well, not the point where we are at the point where even if we're playing well, we're still picking a player to target.
Yeah,
and
shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, and it seems to be Allaire at the moment, and
typical of him. But
I mean, I suppose that. I mean, if that overhead kick had gone in, we'd all be going, "What an amazing goal!" But it didn't. And you look to his face.
I think the player looks short of confidence. I think it's obvious.
Definitely.
It's evident.
There was some he had half chances in the first half that the Leeds players managed to get their foot to, take the sting out of, block, push. One couple went wide, one went into the arms of the keeper where the defenders got a block in. So he was in the right place.
He missed 3 though.
It was just unlucky.
And another 2 in the second half.
No, you say he missed.
Tony Cotty wouldn't have missed them. David Croft wouldn't have missed them.
I think you're wrong.
He wouldn't have missed them.
All right, what 3 are you talking about?
I think I think what Allaire needs. He needs. I know he scored that great goal a few weeks back, but I think he needs a simple tap in, something that's going to be just go in to just regain his confidence. I think the player is short of confidence because he started a game. He was dropped because of a very unfit and not ready Antonio. Had to be brought back on again in the second half against Villa. That's going to knock a player's confidence. It doesn't matter whether you're worth 5 million or 50 million. That's still going to give you a little bit of a confidence hit. And it's too easy, I think, for people to pick on Allaire at the moment. I can see that he's missing chances.
But Nigel, his old routine, it takes a year to get used to the Premier League. Well, look at Benrahma tonight, man of the match. He's telling David Moyes, "You ain't dropping me. You ain't dropping me. I'm going to run my feet off and get in positions and know where the goal is." And he proved to David Moyes tonight why he needs to stay in the team. Allaire didn't do that. He proved to the manager yet again why he's the wrong player. And we've done our 45 million, and he should go in January, and we should move on.
Yeah, but we're gonna lose an awful lot of money by selling him.
We've lost a lot of money. We've lost 50 million this year. We lost 40 million last year. What's another 45 million? Hey, lose that down the back of the sofa. But if it's wrong, it's wrong.
But do you honestly think that? I know a lot of people are calling out for Josh King. And he'll come in for maybe 8, 9, maybe 10 million.
Yeah. On instalments over 20 years.
But is he really at 29 years of age, or he will be at 29 years of age? Is he really the forward-thinking answer, or
but you knock him in a bit like Callum Wilson. I mean, look at Callum Wilson. He knows where the goal is, and he's doing brilliantly for Newcastle, even though Newcastle are not doing so well overall. But I've got him in my dream team, and he's doing bloody well. I think King. I know King hasn't done so well lately for Bournemouth. I don't know if he's playing, but I think King is that kind of player.
Well,
who knows the Premier League.
The stats on King this season, Sean, is that he missed the first 4 or 5 games with an injury.
Yeah.
He's played a handful of games. He's scored no goals, and he's been dropped from the squad in the last 4 or 5 games.
I don't think he wants to be there though. His mind's not in the right place. He didn't get his move. I could see him, by the way. I could see us signing him for 6 months for the rest of the season. Bournemouth might be happy just to get the wages off their bill of someone who's not playing for them. They might have resigned that he's going to go on a 3, and might just go on loan for 6 months just to come over.
Do you really, honestly, truly think that it's over for Allaire?
Yeah, I do.
Nigel?
No.
Yeah, we got the echo. It is from you, mate. I don't know what's going on.
I'm letting you carry on.
All right. Yeah, I don't think it is over for him, but it seems to me that a lot of fans. I mean, I'm looking at the comments here, and I've no doubt Twitter will be awash with Allaire out comments as well. A lot of fans think that his time is up. But honestly, Sean, I mean, you just said, what does it matter? But really, are we really going to lose another 20 odd million on a player?
Yeah. Because you have to move on. You can't keep on going, well, let's wait and see if he comes good. You got done. Frankfurt did us, right? It hasn't worked out for whatever reason. He's not the right player.
Pellegrini, that's garbage. That is
let me finish.
Garbage. No. Frankfurt did us. West Ham paid the money. Frankfurt did us. They quoted us.
Pellegrini, though, picked the player.
I don't know. Who signed off on the cheque?
Yeah, because he backed the manager.
But when it comes to doing the financial deal, did David Sutherland not think, oh, no,
he backed the manager to the tune of 200
whatever? He turned around and signed off on the cheque. So you can't.
And now he feels he's been cheated. He backed the manager. The Pellegrini project cost 214 million.
Okay, let's ask you this question. Pellegrini knew what sort of player he was getting.
Pellegrini got him to play well.
And he did play well in the first season he was there. And Pellegrini managed to adapt the game to suit Allaire. And actually, I think it was during Pellegrini's time that we had both Antonio and Allaire on the pitch at the same time. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was.
Yeah, Antonio played wide right.
Yeah, so it does work. We know it can work. And I think the nearest that we can get to maybe getting Allaire back to any sort of decent form is to persist with the way we started today. Because a player like Benrahma is going to be looking for a player like Allaire more often, and I think they'll enjoy that kind of partnership.
All right, so Andy,
without knowing the stats, I'm going to talk over him because that's what he does to me on the podcast. So without knowing the stats, I bet Haller had more chances today than in most games.
Yeah, and I'll be looking at the stats to find out if that's fact.
If that is the case, then therefore it's possible we found a system that works with him. So to just after one game of this system, where actually he had a lot of chances snuffed out by Leeds defence, he was unlucky with the overhead kicked. So the fact that he was in the right place, he's got the ability. We've seen the quality of goals that he's scored. He can score a great goal. He knows how to hit the ball. So he has got that ability. It's still, I think, he's still not finished. We've got about four games till the transfer window opens anyway. Probably 7 or 8 games till the transfer window closes. Now is not the time to throw him out the team.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm going to be really honest with you. I'm probably one of the very few people who's not a Josh King fan. I don't think it's the right move for the team. I think he's a decent player. He's a decent player. But if you look at what Moyes talked about in terms of what he wants going forward, it doesn't suit it doesn't suit that approach. You know, by buying a player who's going to be 29 when we sign him. I think it's the worst kept secret. You know, and for how long? We're going to start putting them on a 3-year contract, maybe, you know, something like that.
We'll see.
So
it's a short-term fix. You say you're not a Josh King fan. He knows where the goal is,
right?
You know, and I don't know if you can only sign King if you get rid of Haller. I mean, if we get rid of Haller and lose 20 million on him and pay 8 to 10 million for King, have we done well out of that? Because we're then left with 10 million in the kitty and a 29-year-old striker.
Yeah.
What about keeping Allaire in the squad and still buying King? Is that likely, Sean?
No.
I think it's unlikely, but then again, you know, you say about Allaire, but look at Anderson. You know, that was 36 million. That money's gone. We ain't getting that back. So, you know, sometimes you just have to write off bad investments. You just have to write them off and see what money you can get back. Allaire would probably still go back to Bundesliga, and I think he could do a very decent job there.
And I was going to say he'll go back to another league, or he might go and play with Kovac again in the French league for Monaco and start banging them in for fun. Because what will happen is a manager will understand the way he plays and adapt the team to get the best out of him.
Yeah.
But we're complaining.
Let me ask you two questions, though, out of towner, Stelios, cool jazz. Wasn't it you that brought up this whole conspiracy theory about the Pellegrini cleansing of the squad?
Yes, I did.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, in your view, that you want to keep Allaire, where does he, when Antonio's fit again and his ham is all healed and better, where does Allaire fit in the team when Antonio's fit?
Well, I think sooner or later you're gonna, despite the fact that he does play his socks off, I think sooner or later you're going to give Fornals a rest, and I think that's where Antonio comes into play, and he can play alongside Allaire.
Okay, so Masuaku, where do you fit Ben Rama, who played his socks off today?
Well, it depends. It depends on whether you continue with Moyes. We know what Moyes is like. I think the sooner he can, he'll go to a back five. But Masuaku's out for what now? A couple of months, probably. You know, or
I don't know. We're waiting to hear. Someone just put a comment up, and I absolutely agree.
Was it can't get shown off?
You can't defend Allaire. He was crap tonight, and you've got to remember he's very poor at getting back and defending. Now I know that's not his job, but wasn't he the one who gave away the penalty in the first place? Allaire didn't deal with anything, so the centre backs left him to get on with it. And that's the reason we conceded the penalty in the first place. Down to Allaire.
Well, one could also argue we conceded the penalty because if we were playing a back five, then there wouldn't have been that gap for that player to run into. So if you want to blame anyone, you could blame Moyes for changing the system. You know, I mean, it's an easy one to say, "Oh, blame him and blame him." You know, Allaire's pass wasn't good, but there was still quite a way to go before by the time Allaire let go of that ball. For Leeds to make up. So Ben, we're having a good season. We're talking about a negative, and it is a shame because there's a lot of comments coming.
Yeah, they're right. We should be a lot more positive, actually.
Well, let's look at.
You're Mr. Negative.
Negative Nelly. All right.
Well, all right. Let's look at the positives. So the positives are Moyes brought in Ben Rama, which
Mosiah. Yeah,
I didn't expect him to do. And he went with a back four, which again I didn't expect him to do. We were talking last night in the preview, and I actually thought that he was either going to play Diop or he was going to play, and Matt said maybe Ben Johnson, in order to keep the back five, and he didn't either. And so, were we surprised that Moyes changed the formation?
Well, I wasn't.
Well, we know.
I did think I did think we'd start Ben Rama, as I said a little bit earlier. I didn't know the formation. I'm not even sure what the formation was because I'm sure Nigel will tell us. Someone had told me it was a 4-4-1-1, but it didn't look like that out on the pitch. But what do I know about football? Nigel, what formation did he play today?
There's two questions there you asked. What do you know about football? Not a lot. Secondly, the formation. It looked like Ben Rama had more of a free role behind Haller.
Yeah. So that's not the formation.
That is not the formation. I was to say, it definitely wasn't the formation.
Sack your graphics guy.
Yeah, Fornals. I mean, you had Bowen wide right, so we had four at the back: Kufal, Ogbonna, Balbuena, Creswell at the back. Obviously, Rice and Souček in the middle. With Fornals on the left, Owen on the right, but they did swap over a couple of times, I noticed. And then you had Ben Rama seem to float about the pitch in a free role, which I think he's made for actually.
So you do agree with the 4-4-1-1?
You can call it a 4-4-1-1. You could call it a 4-5-1. Ben Rama was off of the main striker. It wasn't a 4-4-2 conventional in that they were both up there.
Definitely. Yeah.
I don't get hung up on formations too much, to be fair.
But Moyes does. And I think
it works. And I think Moyes is the one who said it was a 4-4-1-1, all right? So,
well, but at the end of the day, a lot of people were accusing Moyes of only being one-dimensional, only knowing how to play one way, winning games. with the winger up front, playing 5 at the back.
Yeah.
I've got a sneaky feeling that this is possibly the tallest West Ham team ever. And I think that shows in the fact that we set pieces. I think Sky showed that we've scored 8 goals from set piece now, joint top in the league with Chelsea.
We're re-entering the Allardyce era, set pieces.
Well, we play a bit. The football's nicer on the eye under Moyes than Allardyce, but what we're entering is the Evertonian era of West Ham. In that, if you go back to how Moyes was successful with Everton, perhaps he has found his new Fellaini, as Mourinho said.
Oh dear. So he's changed formation. He's surprised us there. He's put Ben Rama started. Great full debut.
Yeah,
do you agree?
Brilliant, absolutely. Just before you talk about Ben, just want to say something about set pieces. I think David Moyes read my piece on Claret and Hugh 2 days ago where I said Leeds concede the most goals from set pieces, particularly from corners. 20% of their goals have been conceded from corners. West Ham have scored the second most in the Premier League of set pieces. So, there's no way he didn't. In fact, Cresswell afterwards on the box, when Sky interviewed him, said, yeah, Kevin Nolan got us to practice the set pieces because we knew how weak Leeds were. So that tactic worked perfectly for Moyes. They targeted the set pieces, and it's no accident that we've got both of our goals from set pieces because that was the Achilles heel of Leeds. Leeds run us off the park. If you see, everybody knows, and this, I don't know anything about football, so I only know what the Sky commentators said. They ran like 118 kilometres and we ran 113 kilometres. They run a lot of the Leeds team, so we weren't going to outrun them.
They ran a lot, Sean, but they didn't. Throughout the whole game, I don't think I sat there watching a game thinking we're only hanging on here.
No, you're right.
I
didn't feel nervous at all.
Yeah,
we had control. All I felt was we're not going to take our chances. That was my frustration.
90th minute header straight at Fabianski.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you, but I still didn't feel nervous. I get what you're saying, Nigel. You're absolutely right. And usually, goalkeepers union, you'd be protecting him. Maybe his positioning was good, but I just didn't feel it was Leeds' night. And I know it's a gut feeling thing. I just didn't feel that it was going to go their way. So I just didn't get nervous that there was a score. In the run up to our goal, you've got to admit, it looked like, when you get that feeling in a football game that, the other side are going to score in a minute. I got that exact feeling for West Ham. We'd had, I think, 3 chances. It was building. It was coming. And when on the 80th minute, Ogbonna got up on a brilliant header from a Cresswell cross, or was it called? No, it was a free kick, wasn't it? I wasn't surprised. It was coming. I didn't feel nervous. You can't have said you felt that it's a game that could have gone either way, because I never felt that at any point.
Yeah.
Listen, with West Ham, you always know there's a weakness at the back. I'm sorry, you do. We've seen it often enough that we've give away goals. Perhaps it is a bit different this season, that it's sort of changed.
But I mean, you say that, but we've turned that corner, haven't we? We look like we really have, not just from this season, but also from the tail end of last season as well. We've become defensively a lot more savvy all of this season and since post lockdown or Project Restart. Sorry, we've improved in our defence, haven't we? We're no longer the soft touch that we once were in defence.
We've improved, but as Nigel says, and I hate to disagree with him, we're West Ham. So, we go out and play Palace and lose 5-0 against Palace on Wednesday. That's the kind of West Ham thing we do.
I think that's the West Ham we've always known. It feels different now. It feels like
don't get complacent, because this is what we do.
Absolutely not.
And as you come from a different country, so you won't understand this, and you're out of town. So what happens is they start to build your confidence. You think,
that's the sort of comment that he'd pick you up, Sean, Nigel, on the podcast, and he'll do the disclaimer. Sorry, that's not
exactly. I know. I'm feeling a bit punchy tonight. So you get all complacent, going, yeah, West Ham have got a good, defence now. We're not going to let easy goals in, and then just when you start to believe in West Ham, they knock you down because that's the West Ham way. I like to be proved wrong, but so we're not gonna.
Well, on the let's stay on the positives. So our defence is better.
Yeah,
we look. I mean, I don't think there's been a game this season. We played badly twice this season. We lost, and one was against Newcastle where we lost. And was it the other? Well, I wouldn't say we played bad against Man U. We just sort of let that slip, didn't we? But we played
game of 12s. But yeah.
I mean, most of the games we played this season there's been an air of confidence. Even if we go, whereas in the past when we go a goal down, our heads dropped. Today we went a goal down, and it took us a little while to sort of get back into the swing of it, but our heads didn't drop. I mean, that is a new confidence in the team, isn't it?
I think the players are confident. I think they believe under Declan Rice. Bit disappointed, by the way, that Declan handed over the armband to Mark.
Interesting you said that, because I said the same thing, and other people think it's a mark of respect.
I don't. I think we know Declan's the skipper now, and he's just marking out the time. And I think Mark, I would have respected Mark a lot more if he'd have rejected it and said, no, you keep it. But no,
is that the news on Diop? Is that your phone? News on Diop. Okay, so
he was at the ground. He was in Leeds. There you go. There's an update. He travelled to Leeds.
So we think, or you think, that there's an issue with Diop, but that's another negative that we'll talk about another day, shall we? Unless you get your update before the end of this show.
So to go back, I've heard that a lot of players have said this is the best togetherness, this is the best team spirit, this is the best confidence that some players like Cresswell has seen for a long, long time. Cresswell's been there since 2014, Nigel?
Yeah.
Is that Moyes? Is that Nolan? And is that the backroom staff as much to contribute for that as the manager?
I think it's winning football games.
It's a good point. It's an obvious one, but it's a fair point, Nigel.
No, because at the end of the day, if you're down at the bottom, you're pressurised by people within the club. You're pressurised from definitely supporters at the club. So, therefore, sometimes you can play tense, and that the fear of making a mistake can grip a player. I think without fans in the ground, you're seeing players play without the fear of making a mistake because they know they won't get bashed by the supporters in the ground for doing it. I'm not saying we're playing better because we ain't got fans there. I'm not saying that, but sometimes some players won't be affected or will feel freer to be able to play in a certain way. I think it's something to do with perhaps Moyes as changed the way the club's played, changed the way, the fact that he'd been there before, I think, and it saved us from relegation or managed to keep us up, whatever way you look at it. So players knew, it's like a comfortable pair of slippers, isn't it? He's come back like a comfortable pair of slippers, and people knew where they are with him straight away. And I think that works.
Yeah.
And I think he's also put in discipline. I hear that, no disrespect to Bilic or Pellegrini, that they were really nice guys, but it's weak on discipline. I hear that Moyes is a no-nonsense in training. He doesn't put up with any player power or any back chat or anyone being late, etc. And I'm told players like that. They prefer it because then, it's fair.
It gives it structure, doesn't it?
It gives structure. You know where you are, and you don't get jealousy that that player got left off because he came in early because he's a big time Charlie, or or this player gets away with back chat and stuff like that. I think he's a disciplinarian. He learned from Sir Alex Ferguson, and I think players like that. You know, he expects people to work hard, and I'm told that if he sees someone being lazy at training, he tells them, "You're lazy. You're lazy. You need to pull up your socks and work hard if you want to stay in the team. You don't just get there on your name." And I like to think that's got something to do with, you know, he's now planning for long term. He's already said last week, you know, I don't want to talk about contracts. I don't need to talk about contracts. I want to let my results talk for themselves, and that's really refreshing. And I think I really do believe he could be our long-term manager. I mean, I'd like to know what you two think. With you give him another 3-year contract, but you know.
Well, I said in my show last week about his contract, and I suggested let's wait a little bit longer. Let's see if the form that we have at the moment maintains through to the, you know, for the next couple of months, and if we get to something like February, end of February, beginning of March, and it's still looking as good as it is, then why not? Why not give him a long-term contract?
I know Nigel's view is you've got to give managers. I mean, again, we want to stay positive, but look at Johnny Lyle. You know, he had his rough patches, etc. I know it's not like that anymore. But if we really want to have a long-term project and trust in him, we shouldn't be saying we'll give him a new contract when we're safe. That is short-termism. We should be saying, you know what, Moyes is building something here. Let's give him a new contract if he wants one, and see what he can build.
Nigel, thoughts on that?
Well, if Moyes is happy to carry on with that, if he's not bothered about getting a new contract sorted till the end of the season, as long as Moyes is happy, I don't care. At the end of the day, I don't see Moyes going to a bigger football club than us. We're the biggest club he will manage at his time in the career now. He's been to a bigger club, it failed.
Yeah, true.
The fact is that when he left us and kept us up, nobody came in for him.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
So it relied on us being in the crap again for him to get back into football management. So it's possible that we're a nice glove that fits well with him.
Win. It's what I do.
So I'd be happy for Moyes. I wouldn't be disappointed. If Moyes was here for 10 years, it wouldn't bother me because it meant we've done something right.
Yeah.
And the problem we've had is we've got to break the cycle of chopping and changing every couple of years. Under Gold and Sullivan, that's what we've done. And the one manager I wanted them to chop and change, they kept for the longest.
Sam Allardyce,
the man who we shall not speak of.
Sam's teams do not go down.
No,
but do not go down.
First goal tonight for West Ham. People were talking about Souček going off the boil. He's come up with 2 goals in the past few games, and
he's in my team as well, my fantasy team on Premier League Fantasy. So doing well.
So I mean,
6'4", by the way.
He's better than Fellaini, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Much better than Fellaini.
But height, there's that old cliche that it's a game of inches, right? I think it really mattered for that first goal. I think their tallest player is 6'1". Well, I'm sure you saw the graphic up on Sky. Their tallest player was 6'1". That's our shortest player in those positions. So, having those 3 inches, it helps in those set pieces.
It ain't just him. If you look, you got Ogbonna.
Yeah, he's 6'3", isn't he? And Rice, 2-3.
Yeah, there's 4 of them straight away.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of height there that can
inches
come
matter. I'm sure your wife told you that still.
Let's not talk about those things. There you go.
Obviously, don't bother her that much.
We are still talking about football, aren't we?
Yeah, of course we're talking about.
The thing is, Sean's been fighting mutual for years, and he's losing it by the looks of it. So I won't worry about that, people.
He's wider.
We'll be talking about cheese next, Del.
He's wider than he's taller, isn't he, Sean?
Yeah.
But he's people. But seriously, Souček, people have been talking about. I even sort of read a couple. Not that I go on Twitter, but people are talking about maybe time to give him a rest. There's no need, is there? Souček and Rice are probably two of the best central midfielders in the Premier League at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah.
Or is that exaggerating?
Well, we live in our West Ham bubble, but I would have to look at the stats. You have to get Anton to do stats, but Souček is.
I think Rice is the best English midfielder in the Premier League at this moment in time. The one thing I was talking with Charlie, my daughter's boyfriend, lives with us, watching the game. And the thing about Rice is he's very happy at the club, looks to be the captain. Will he stay? I think it depends on Rice and what he wants from his career. Is he happy being in a successful or in a Premier League club, captain, club legend? The only thing that would make him leave is if he wants trophies in his career, because he's playing for England and he's now a regular for England.
But Nigel, that's the next thing, isn't it?
So
we're going to have a good cup run this season, aren't we?
But this is the thing: if we can't add trophies, and if he wants to play in Europe, will that be a big draw? It's there were players in the history of the game, if you look back, that they didn't need that. The likes of Matisse, probably Billy Bodds, Cubs come in for them. Look at Bobby Moore. Bobby Moore did actually want to leave West Ham, but that's another story. But I know that was the old days, and now it's about moving on. But there are these players that maybe, because they're happy at the club, they know the fans love them, they enjoy being there. Why risk something different?
Yeah,
with his career, because he could go somewhere else and he could bomb.
And he could bomb, exactly. I mean, he could go to his dream. What people say is his dream move to Chelsea, or it's Chelsea that's saying that's his dream move, and he could end up sitting on the bench for half the time. Lose his place in the England team and stuff like that. It's not always rosy on the other side. Are you going to give us an exclusive, Sean, that Rice is going to sign a long-term contract in January?
Well, I can tell you Intikala, who that idiot fake ITK with 350,000 followers, is completely off the mark when he said yesterday, breaking news, I've spoken to Declan Rice's agent and he's either going to go to Man United or Chelsea. Absolute baloney. Look, the club want Rice to say they're happy to discuss with him a new contract. They're happy to give him the club captain role and other incentives. They're happy to build a team around him. But we're probably delaying the inevitable. We could give him a 6-year contract still. And you said we want to be positive, but he ain't gonna be like Mark Noble and retire with us, is my honest opinion. And I think the club know that. When we cash in, we need to make sure it's for a mega bit of money. I don't think that will be in January. That could be in the summer, and it could be the next summer. But the day will come where, 100, 150, whatever it is by that time is the going rate, for a future England captain will be paid. And
I've always said that
we shouldn't begrudge him that, should we?
No, absolutely. But I'm kind of with Nigel. I've said continuously that it's down to how we do. If we spend another season fighting relegation, you can't deny the lad the move that he might crave. But if we do well, I mean, we're doing exceptionally well this season. If we carry on, who knows where we could be at the end of the season.
Any player would want Champions League football in their career. We are not going to be I joked earlier, we are not going to play and really contend properly in Champions League. If he wants to do that, he's got to join a top 6 club in his career, right? Mm-hmm. He's a young man still, 21.
The big
he can do that at 23 or 24.
We're having a good season. We can all agree on that.
Yeah.
If we carry on this pathway, we're going to finish top 10. Big improvement on previous season.
Yeah.
But then that makes next season even more critical, because Rice would be happy to stay for next season. because what he sees is a club on the upward.
Yeah.
The problem with West Ham have done in the past, and it's easy to go back. You look at 2015 and 16. They never build on those seasons. 85, 86. Never built on those seasons to actually kick on and become something permanent. West Ham have one good season and then disappear for 3 or 4 seasons. And then they come back out of the blue and surprise us, as well as all the pundits. Have a good season like we could have this season. And the trick is what happens next season. The worst thing about this is happening with the pandemic and the loss of income in football. And West Ham had already lost loads of money. They're going to struggle to make signings to push on because the bigger clubs are going to have the money. Arsenal struggling, they're going to come back with money. Man United, Man City not doing well, relatively speaking. So they'll throw money at it. If we ain't got money and next season we bomb, then you can kiss goodbye to Rice.
But do you think what we talked about earlier, where if Moyes does sign a long-term contract and continues to stabilise the club, maybe we won't be that sort of yo-yo club that we've been over the past, all our history. Maybe we'll be the kind of club that might appeal to keeping him on for maybe another couple of seasons. So that's maybe down to keeping Moyes.
That's what I'm saying. We're all second guessing what Rice wants from his career. So if he does want Champions League and he does want trophies, the chances are we're going to have to accept he's going to have to move on because, as Sean said,
he's happy. He's happy at the moment.
Yeah.
And we've got to keep him that way.
He's not the one pushing. I know his family are Chelsea, but you know what? They've sort of becoming. I won't say they're becoming West Ham fans, but the people I know his family because they live they're very local to where I work, right in southwest London. Because obviously he was born in he was born in Kingston, currently lives in Chessington. His brothers and stuff drink and live around sort of the New Malden area. I work in Rains Park, and I just know people who drink and talk, and they follow his career and watch when they can watch him in the games. So while he comes from a Chelsea family, his dad's Chelsea, his brother's are Chelsea. Obviously, he was born in Chelsea. That they like what he's doing at West Ham, and everybody who I talk to who know him say he's enjoying his time at West Ham. He's enjoying being the captain at 21 years of age. Yeah. He sees it's a great honour. Don't mean to be funny, but he's not going to get that if he goes to Man United in the short
Chelsea.
Term, or Chelsea. They're not going to make him captain.
So he could be idolised at West Ham, and that might keep him there a bit longer.
But that probably keeps him there for another 2 years. But he's 21. We keep on forgetting he's 21. He's a captain at the moment for the last however many games at West Ham. He's 21. It's not like time's running out for his big career move. He could spend another 2-3 years at West Ham and still move to a Big Six club for his big payday.
True. So we've gone through a couple of players tonight. We've talked a little bit about Rice, a little bit about Souček. We've done the LA bit, Ben Rama.
Cheese? We've done anything on cheese?
We haven't got to cheese just yet, and we probably won't.
What kind of show is this that doesn't have cheese? Send in your favourite cheese.
Now, the goal winner, Ogbonna. Yeah. What a season he's having. Well, not just one season, but probably the last few seasons. He's probably been our standout defender, isn't he, Ogbonna?
Yeah. I mean, hard to argue. He was unlucky not to win the Hammer of the Year last year. And we were talking about getting rid of him, and he's not good. He's certainly having towards the end of his career, having some great form, and that's what we've got to remember. You're talking about writing off Josh King, saying he's not the future. Ogbonna is 30,
32, 31, 32.
I was going to say,
but it's different. It's different for a defender to be in his 30s than it is for a front man to be in his.
I get that, but still, you don't look at saying, your defenders are, your centre backs. All right, they might go on for 33 or something. How old is Craig Dawson?
Dawson's 30.
30. And a lot of people, when we took on Dawson, said, "Oh, he's a bit over the hill and everything." So I know centre backs going a little bit longer.
Yeah, but Dawson don't play for Italy, does he?
Well, nor does El Bonner, really. He only got called back into the squad and he didn't get to play. He got injured. So, you know, I like that he's having the form of his life, but we do need to find another centre back to replace him in a few years, don't we?
Well, we've got Diop, haven't we? Unless you've heard otherwise.
Nothing I can say.
He's going to save it. He's going to save it for an article. He's going to write on Claret and Hugh straight after the show.
I will need to get writing an article. If we're not moving on to cheese, then I will have to write an article in a minute.
Right, let's wrap this up because we've been rambling for an hour. Palace
Only an hour. Only an hour.
Only an hour. Yeah, I know. You two can go on for 3 hours. I did listen to the podcast the other day. I was really surprised that you were getting to the 3 hour mark. I was shocked.
Well, that was Andy from Manchester United, wasn't it? Shut up. My great bit was someone on Twitter complained about politics.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
And they're like, we had Manchester United on. What do you want us to talk about?
2 hour, 40-minute podcast, and you only spent 2 minutes talking about football. You were lucky. 2 hours.
You were lucky to have gotten the 2 minutes. I would have replied. So we got Palace next. What did we? You know,
didn't get ballot. Did you get ballot?
No, but you'll be there though, won't you, Sean?
I won't be there. In fact, I'm going to write an article.
Were you not there for the Villa game?
I'll tell you what he won't do still. He won't pretend he was there either.
Well, maybe I will, Nigel.
When I sent him a message, he said, unofficially, I'm not there.
That's true, wasn't it? That was a true fact. I deal in facts. Unofficially, I was not there.
Hang on. You heard that, Nigel? He said he deals in facts.
Yeah.
Anyway, what did we?
Aaron, did you get a ballot? You changed the subject. Politicians answered. Did you get a ballot for?
I got a ballot, but I didn't get a ticket.
Did you like the title from the club? Important update.
I thought you'd wrote it.
Important update. Quickly.
I'll tell you what. As soon as it came through, I thought, "Oh, I've got a ticket."
Yes.
Important update. Sorry, you haven't got a ticket.
That's and the one earlier from the club.
The one earlier, I don't remember.
The one earlier from the club earlier in the week said,
confirm your entry.
Confirm your entry. Yeah.
No.
I mean, what a way! What a way to let you down.
Yeah, I complained to the club and said, "I'm sorry, but that's just clickbait, and you should know better."
Yeah. See, the email writers have obviously been reading Claret and you two.
I knew you were going to say that. Nothing wrong with a bit of clickbait.
A great win, a win that I think a lot of people didn't expect us to get. Onto Palace and another 3 points. Do you think?
Yeah, and maybe Arsenal will go into relegation zone. Look at that. I mean, it's a double whammy. Look at the teams below us, including Manchester United and Arsenal. That makes me just as happy as us being.
I think Palace have got a bit more than Leeds going forward, and that's
this is the thing with Leeds. I expected them to have a right go at us, and I didn't get it. I didn't see it.
No.
I think Palace is going to be a little bit like Villa, where they kind of they just tried to go for it, didn't they? Villa, they just didn't have the luck, I guess. But I'm guessing that's the way the Palace game is going to be. We're going to get a bit more of a bit more tested in defence, I think. Got a lot of good. They've got a lot of good.
They're 11th on 16 points.
Eberechi, Zaha.
Yeah, well, I was going to say with
Man goal scoring, Benteke up front.
Benteke's been scoring.
And with Zaha, of course, you've got another Grealish on our hands, haven't you? You can go down at any time.
Yeah.
That's the danger.
Look, you get that photo as well then still.
What photo?
Grealish.
Oh, yeah, did you?
No. What photo is that?
You said he could go down at any time. I'll send it to you later.
I'll send it to him now so you can see it. Maybe he wants to put it live up on... It probably want to put it live up on air. See if you dare put this live on air. Just send it to
If you can name the players with him.
Someone put on Twitter earlier, and I know you're not on Twitter still, but 20 points from safety, they said, and that's the West Ham mentality.
Well, no, we are though. We are. I mean, you got to look at it that way, haven't you? You know, you've got to look at it that we've only got 20 points more to get in order to stay in the league. There you go.
Will you be putting that picture of Jack Grealish up on the?
Not on my show, mate. No, but it's such a shame that you guys don't. I tell you, you guys should do a YouTube version of your podcast, and then you can put that up on your show. I'm serious. We'll host it for you. No problem.
You can see ball control though. Still, he's
you what, mate?
His ball control there. He's quite. You can see he's good.
Yeah.
Don't
forget to sign up to One Football before you sign off today, because it's really important to support your sponsors. Okay.
Thank you, Sean. That was a well rehearsed advert there.
Don't forget your mugs.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. By the way, let's have a look. Anton, have you got? Let's bring him back on. Anton, are you there? Oh, he's fallen asleep in the background. Bloody.
But he can't do because someone put up the sponsor bit for download the new One Football.
Oh, he's done that. Hang on, let's bring him in. You there? Hello. Unmute yourself, mate.
Yes, I'm here.
It's not. Oh, it is. It's
echoing, yeah.
Before we do anything, we've got to just remind everybody. Please do support the new and recorder Christmas toy appeal. You can go on virginmoneygiving.com /fund/toy appeal 2020 to see how you can help support that worthy cause. So please do that if you can. Go in there, help that worthy cause. Oh, thank you, mate. Who's that? Is that Moyes in the middle?
It is Moyes.
Oh, okay.
It's the 1 second to the right that confuses me.
Well, I'll tell you a story. I spoke to John earlier about this because
is that the guy that got booked? No.
I don't know that is still.
I don't. Who? Go back. Oh, is that John? Oh,
I spoke to John earlier today, and I said, because the club sent me the press release for this. You're probably aware the club donated 1,000 toys. The club and the players and the manager donated money to the food bank, the Dagenham thing, and this toy appeal. So I rang up John after the press release came out. I spoke to the club and I said, "Oh, great, good to see everything's going, and the club supported the toy appeal and the food bank and everything." I said, "How's Moisey?" And he said, "Yeah, it was all right." I said, "Why'd you say that?" He said, "Yeah, so we turned up." And like he's very organised. It was before training. He said, "You stand there, you stand there, you stand there, you stand there." Picture, fist bump. He said they went off. He said the whole thing was off. He travelled all the way from like Liverpool, and he said the whole thing was done like within 4 minutes. You know, I guess they wanted to get him on the training. He's a serious man. He said he organised the whole thing. He said, "Right, take the picture here. I'll be standing in the middle. He'll be standing there. He'll be standing there. Get the van in the background. Click. Right. Boys, come on then, let's start trading." But fair play to the club for supporting the toy appeal. Fair play to John Ratomski on it, and we on More Than Just a Podcast are supporting this appeal. And I'll be interviewing the chap who organised it, a chap called Kevin Jenkins, over the weekend. So I think that's going to come on. Little plug for the podcast, More Than Just a Podcast. That interview will be out on Monday to talk about this and the poverty in Newham and the connections.
It should be an interesting listen because Sean was absolutely jack shit about them.
Well, why don't we get you to do the interview?
Or anything else?
Why don't we get you to do the interview then?
I'll tell you what I'm looking for.
Enjoy the car crash of the interview and listening to it.
I'm going to ask him his favourite cheese. Go on, Stel, sorry.
I'll tell you what I'm looking forward to is when you and Len do the propaganda with Sean.
Yes.
I think that's going to be an interesting listen. Because
Christmas
what Sean will do is when he's asked the question by Len, do you consider yourself to be a towner or an out-of-towner? And when Sean stupidly replies a towner, I think you're going to really have a feast there.
Yeah.
Will you reply that you will be?
I can hold my own. So, I'll do anything just to wind them up on their propaganda. They won't have me on. They won't have me on because they know I'll beat them at their own game. So what Nigel's done, I know we're going off topic and but what Nigel's done is in his little fancy world, he's drawn a little bubble of about 250 yards of where he was born and called that in town. So it's almost impossible at different times. If you like someone, it sort of draw a line around it to include you. If he doesn't like you, you're an out of towner. So it's a very difficult club to be in, and it's all in his imagination. But I don't like to upset him.
Well, this isn't a propaganda podcast. This is a
propaganda podcast available on Spotify, iTunes.
Oh, there's been so many adverts, and I think the advert that we wanted to get in, Anton, we said half an hour ago we're going to show you what the mugs look like.
Oh.
Let's see. Have you got any?
Do we get one for coming on the show?
Yeah, if you give us a
print me on.
yeah.
Hang on. Oh, there they are.
Look at that. Look at that.
3 dicks.
3 dicks. Is that the name of tonight's episode?
I did tell Anton I was a bit worried about that. But if anyone wants a mug, hang on, let's bring the salesman on. Come on, mate. How'd you get a mug?
He's going to do sign language.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good chat about the game. I really enjoyed that review on the West Ham Leeds game, guys. It was quality. I hope you all enjoyed that. An hour and 6 minutes.
What do you expect when you invite us on?
Yeah, so
we did talk about the game. We talked about the 2 goals. We talked about the penalty.
Yeah, just because I fucking prompted you with the pictures, that's why.
And we also talked about One Football.
There you go.
You're really good at download it now.
Yeah.
Right. So
mugs.
Mugs. You mug. We're sold out of this one. We're sold out of the gold one.
Told you it's going to go well, mate.
You sold out 3 months. Oh wow, that's a big rush. Yeah.
You're actually not that far off of that, Sean. To be fair. Listen, I don't need to lie, but you're not that far off of it. We're extremely low in stock. This has probably been the most popular mug. You what?
Just one of them. Low in stock.
Let's give you a clue. The stock numbers are as many as the viewers you have or the listeners you have on your podcast.
8.
So we're low in stock on that. We're low in stock on the full colour logo. We've got Dix 3 and we've got Bonds 4. I think it is. Yeah, as well.
There you go.
So jump onto the shop, the shop on the website, which Alf kindly.
I've just worked out what the echo is, mate. There's something wrong with your microphone. Because when you go closer to it,
it goes echoey.
No, you don't echo, but we still do.
All right, I've got you. We'll get it sorted.
Anyway,
we'll get it sorted.
Anyway.
Anton, what's your favourite cheese?
They've taken over.
Listen, Sean, I've been listening, mate. And this is what I think of. This is what I think of my. Do you want me to tell you what my favourite cheese is? Anyway, this has been West Ham and United. This has been our highlights and. Sean. No, listen. Who's rounding it off? Still, you rounding it off.
Can I just point out that Jake last week had a better bedroom than Sean?
Excellent.
I think you need Jake back on, to be fair.
We had him on earlier. We actually had him on earlier, but we invited him. We invited him to this, and he said he's got to go to bed.
Well,
to be honest,
I've got to be up for the market in the morning.
How many of your listeners you still got on? Have we bored them all off?
We've still got like over 200.
Shut up.
I'm serious, yeah.
Shut the front door.
Hang on, sorry, 2.36, not 200. No, yeah, we got over 200 people listening to you rabbit on about cheese.
God.
Well, listen, the numbers were going up until you started to digress onto some crazy stories, and then they started to drop slightly. I'm only joking.
Let's wrap it up.
Yeah. Well, on you go, Stel. You wrap it up then, mate. When are you back? You're back for the West Ham Weekly Sunday?
Yeah, back for the West Ham Weekly Sunday. Listening to the podcast on Monday.
I'm
It's all right,
officially
I guess.
off on annual leave now for the whole winter period, so maybe I can get this new show out.
Oh,
and
that'd be nice, mate.
prepared
You've only
and
been
sorted.
promising it for the last 3 months.
It's fine, no, but it's got to be. You've got to do something. You've got to do it right, and
It's
I think
tough when you have to work from home still. Leave him alone.
yeah.
He's going on
Anthony,
holiday to his attic.
You plugged
That's where
your
he's gonna go on holiday.
propaganda podcast on any
Go
of
on then,
your-
plug your propaganda. Go on. By the way, hang on a minute. It's the same night as the Palace game. So when's that
Oh,
going?
hold on a minute. You've
No,
got to
because
plug.
we do it every 2 weeks. So
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
We
For
haven't even
anyone
lined
that's
up.
not listened to it, Nigel and Carrington Lane have a podcast called Propaganda, and I was their second guest on the show, and it's definitely worth a listen. I think who was the first guest?
Rusty B.
Russ was the first one, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So yeah,
I was actually, I thought it was a pleasant surprise how Len was surprised at Anton. I think it threw him.
Yeah, well, I didn't give it away to Len. Obviously, I know a lot of the backstory of Anton, so I didn't give any of it away. Did you like the title, Anton?
Yeah. My mum and dad in particular liked it as well, but
Yeah,
everyone
because that's you rolled into one. You're like walking. When you walk into a pub, it's like an Englishman's Irish.
Yeah, it was the perfect. It was the perfect. Yeah, it was the perfect one. Yeah, no, it was good, mate. It was
The
good.
Scotsman in him don't buy a beer, but
Yeah, no, definitely go check out. And listen, let's not forget, go and check out More Than Just a Podcast. Like that.
There
If
you
you
go.
like cheese. You still
Anyway,
been on
If you
the
like,
cheese
if you like
question.
cheese.
We're
tell you
definitely
what,
losing. We're losing viewers
This week,
with it. Honestly,
cheese is off the
we're losing
menu.
Come on,
hundreds of
tell you
viewers
what,
within
just
seconds.
answer a cheese question. You'll make me happy. What's your favourite cheese? Come on.
Well, I thought I said that the other day in my comments. I quite like a bit of cheddar. But there you go.
I thought you'd be a feta man. No.
I don't actually like feta that much.
Monday evenings down in the dungeon. He likes a bit of feta then.
Quickly shut the program down.
We've just lost another 50 viewers there, so there you go.
Yeah, you can see that again, mate. You can see that again.
Anyway, let's
Right.
wrap it up. Thank
Yep.
you guys for coming on. Much appreciated.
Absolutely. Hit the
Another
subscribe
great
button.
win.
Hit the thumbs
Yeah,
up.
go. Yeah. You
Hit
do
the
it. Go on. You're
comments.
better at doing it, though. all
Hit
right.
the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, do the comments, but the main thing is that we have got another victory today. West Ham are sitting 5th in the table. We've turned up to Ellen Road. We've turned over what's his chops? What's his name?
Bielsa.
Bielsa. And yeah, as Sean's doing, advertise the One Football, the sponsorship. But the main priority here, Sean, is not adverts. It's not selling mugs. It's the football club that we support. Come on, you Irons. Yes.